Hey, I'm Jeff Straw. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to supercharge your networking to get you ready for 2022 and beyond. So let's get right into it after the intro. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Jeff Straw. Welcome back to the channel. 2022 is here. I'm pumped. I'm really excited about this year. I'm excited about this new studio that I'm in, this new house that we're in, and mostly excited to just kind of reinvigorate this channel with some new ideas, some new content, some new videos for all of you, and get fired up about making art, making content, shooting photos, shooting videos. So to kick this year off, we're starting our Create More group this month on the topic of networking. That's going to happen this Friday. But again, those are generally the first Friday of every month. You can find more information about that on my website. So I'm creating a series of videos around networking as well. Last week I did a live stream. This week I'm back to doing a more edited approach, my sort of normal videos. I'm bringing these tips to you, looking back over the 20-year career that I've had and pulling ideas around networking that I learned at different points. Hopefully these will be useful to you. They were certainly useful to me. My network is probably one of the most important things I've developed over the course of my career. And so anything I can do to help other creatives and other artists grow their network, other business people grow their network, I'm always down for that. And I wanted to just start off with saying, this is a big one, is to invest in yourself. If you can't invest in yourself, how do you expect another person to take a chance on you, to invest their time, energy, money into you? For me, what that's looked like is investing my time and resources to get myself to industry conferences that can provide opportunities for me, making sure that those resources were well spent and making the most of those opportunities. While I was at the digital distribution company InGrooves, every year I went to the Film and TV Music Summit put on by Billboard in LA. And this was a really important conference for me to go to. I was sort of in charge with pitching sync for film and TV placements, also video games and ads, but this was a really big conference. It was the only time that the bulk of the music supervisors in LA would all be in the same place at once. So it was a really good way to learn. It was a really good way to meet people. And so when you're at a conference, don't play the how big of a stack of business cards can I get game. Instead, try to make one really, really pure, true, deep connection with someone. That connection will provide you with so many more opportunities down the road than 72 casual conversations that you had. Yes, you're going to have those lightweight, casual, trade a business card type of interactions. That's fine. That's what conferences are for. But your purpose should be to connect deeply with one person whose opportunities align with yours, right? And so how will people know if your opportunities align? You've got to be vocal about what it is you're there for, and you got to be clear about what it is that you're there for. So as you're going to a conference, be prepared with business cards of your own, sure, but also be prepared with the why. What am I doing here? What do I hope to gain out of this? Is there a project that I'm working on right now that's really that I'm looking to move forward as a result of being here? So when you're intentional with how you show up, those people tend to show up as well. Next one is asking for intros. I've had a ton of success with this one, right? Especially if you're at a conference or just in general, once you've been working closely with someone for a while, asking them for an introduction to someone that they think you would work well with can be a really, really powerful tool, especially at a conference, right? Like if you're at a conference and you see a colleague and you know that person is pretty well connected, just make a point to see if hey, I want to introduce you to someone. Can you do the same for me? Again, we're trading value, but also a warm introduction coming from someone that already knows that person will go a lot further. And then if you can turn that new person that you just got introduced to into your one new deep contact for that particular event, you're off to the races. So for example, when I was at Ingrooves, before I took over as director of sync, we had someone in LA named Heather Kramer, who is still a dear friend of mine, who was pitching our stuff to film and TV. And she introduced me to PJ Bloom. And PJ is a world-renowned music supervisor, among other talents of his. And PJ and I hit it off really, really well. You know, over the course of my career working in sync, PJ undoubtedly became my most important connection into that world and provided me with more deals than anybody. And so that came out of a warm introduction, right? Next one, cultivate relationships. So you've gotten an introduction from someone, you made a good connection, now what, right? Learning how to cultivate those relationships is really, really important. Again, back to this notion of working with PJ and Neophonic, every time I was in LA, I made sure I carved out time to go to their office and meet with them. I'd set up an appointment, try to get it towards the end of the week, and I'd show up with a nice bottle of bourbon, some new music of ours to listen to, and shoot the shit, catch up, maybe listen to some music, talk about projects, talk about things that excited us within the film and TV world, and just hang out. Taking that time every time I was in LA really cemented and deepened the relationship I had with them. The other cool thing was that I got to meet the other music supervisors that were in his office simply because I was there, and I was there enough, and I wasn't there frequently, but I was there, you know, maybe 3-4 times a year, enough to be a familiar face. And you know, the music business especially, but I think most businesses are very much driven by interpersonal relationships, and people like to work with who they know. Similarly, while I was at Ingrooves pitching this music for sync placements, the record labels and artists that I would pitch were very much the ones out of the catalog that I knew. I'm not saying I only hooked up my friends, no, but they were the labels that I had come to know over the course of my career there. What does that mean? That means they reached out to me. They sent me good music when I would have a request for something. They made sure not to waste my time. If we had a clearance that needed to happen, they were quick to respond. They were easy to work with, right? So that's my next tip, is to be easy to work with. So not only do we need to cultivate those relationships once we make them, we also need to be easy to work with, and that can show up in a couple different ways. One of the reasons that PJ liked to work with me so much is that I would always try to work within their budgets. And sometimes their budgets on shows like CSI Miami would be really good, you know, $10,000, $15,000 for a single deal. Sometimes they'd only have $2,500, and I would work just as hard to find music for them, whether that was a $15,000 placement or a $2,500 placement. And they recognized that, and so that was the way we were able to do repeat business with them. In your world, think about that. What does that look like? How can I be easy to work with? If someone's trying to buy your art, you know, be responsive, be professional, get back to people in a timely manner, answer those DMs, pick up your phone, all that kind of stuff, right? The last one I'll leave you guys with for this video is this: ask questions and genuinely listen. When you're networking with people, it's not all about you. In fact, it should be very little about you, especially early on. Try to get people talking about them. Try to get people talking about, obviously, their work, but also what else they're interested in. I can't tell you how many times I've made a connection with someone in the music business because of something other than music, right? Because we're all human beings. We have different things that we can be interested in. Things like baseball, things like sushi, things like dogs, things like, right? Like whatever it is that you're into, maybe not every single facet of you is going to be like someone else. Of course, we're all unique and individual and things like that. But when you can connect on and find common ground around something, that deepens that relationship and it makes you more relatable and makes you more human. That is a fantastic way to grow your network. And so then, as you are progressing in this world, you know, you're seen as a more of a well-rounded contact, a more well-rounded human, and people enjoy being around you because you've got something other than just work to talk about, right? You'd be ridiculously surprised at how well that works. So I hope this was useful for you guys. It's really good to be making a video here finally. This kicks us off to a good 2022. More stuff to come. I've got a bunch of good ideas for videos moving forward. I hope these tips are helpful, and I will see you next time. Peace.